Welcome to the warm and sunny Colombo. An incredible game on our hands. Asia Rugby Emirates Men's Championship Playoff 25. Both teams looking to book their place in that elite competition. Malaysia visiting the home team, Sri Lanka, here at the Racecourse. Coming to you live from the Racecourse grounds in Colombo. This one is going to be a cracker-lacking affair. A warm welcome to all our viewers joining us from across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining us from. It's going to be a day filled with incredible rugby action. Joining me in the com box are two very interesting men, Abdullah Yusuf, usual companion, and we've had the pleasure of getting Tarinder Ratwate, who would have otherwise played in this game, joining us in the com box. Before having a chat with them, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Maximum temperature at 34. It won't go to that minimum because currently it feels like it's 32 here. There is a wind blowing from left to the right of your screens, although the weather forecast is going to be largely sunny here at the Racecourse. A very warm welcome to you, gentlemen, into the box, and it's going to be a cracker-lacking affair.
Absolutely, Sudarshana. Whole of Colombo was eagerly anticipating this encounter. It's a great opportunity for Sri Lankan rugby as a whole to once again make it to that top division, as we can see both teams making their way onto the ground. You can see the crowd extremely excited for this encounter, and as Sudarshana mentioned, we have the pleasure of having Tarinder Ratwate in our midst today. I'm sure most viewers would rather have seen him on the ground rather than with us, but Tarinder, so far how do you see this game going?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a new experience for me joining you all at the commentary box. Not so comfortable here, but please, thank you for having me. It will be a wonderful occasion, wonderful affair, I think, of rugby, a wonderful game of rugby that will be played here. And we could expect great things from both sides. And I think everybody's in anticipation as to see what will happen.
The head-to-head between Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Sri Lanka have had the upper hand and the advantage, winning 11 games. Whereas Malaysia have only managed to win 6. But what Malaysia will take confidence in is the fact that the last encounter that they played against each other, Malaysia were the victors, so they will want to make sure that they continue that good form going into this game, which is absolutely crucial for them to remain in this top division, whereas Sri Lanka will be hoping they can get back into that top tier after a long hiatus.
Absolutely, but that last encounter, Sudarshana, was a while ago. I think both teams have moved on since that encounter, and if memory serves me right, that game was played in Malaysia as well. So Sri Lanka put in a really good performance in that Asian Division 1 tournament last year. I'm sure they'll be looking to carry on that feel-good momentum into this game as well. And no doubt that with the huge crowd that's in today, they will definitely want to put in a good show.
Sri Lanka, like Abdullah mentioned, has been very successful. Tarinder was part of this team which played against India and Kazakhstan. It was a very good outing for Sri Lanka, winning the first one against India 45 points to 10, and then getting the upper hand against Kazakhstan as well, 45 points to 7. Tari, that was a very good base that Sri Lanka built on. Winning these two games, that would have given them a lot of confidence.
Oh, most definitely. But I think what we have to also look at is that all the Sri Lanka players are coming off a long club season, which means conditioning is far better than what it was last year. Because don't forget, last year what happened was most players didn't play the knockouts finals or the knockout tournament last year, especially Candy. CR got knocked out in the first round last year. So we had a long break between us actually starting training and practices for the Sri Lanka outfit, whereas this year I think we are so much more prepared conditioning-wise.
Malaysia, on the other hand, did not have a very easy run against South Korea in the opening encounter. Went down 55 points to 5 against Hong Kong, China 70 points to 6, and against UAE 62 points to 19. It was a difficult tournament for them. However, they have rallied together and they have come back and made sure that they are ready for this battle, as we see the Honourable Minister of Sports and the President of the Asia Rugby Football Association, Mr. Kais Abdullah, being introduced to the two teams alongside the Director General of Sports and also the Competitor Authority of Sri Lanka Rugby. The two teams will want to make sure that they get the pleasantries aside as soon as they possibly can. It's never nice, isn't it, when you warmed up, revving to go, having to do with the pleasantries, but that is how it is. So you got to make sure that you do the formalities right and before you get on to the action. The Malaysian team, the support staff, wanted to make sure that their flag is proudly displayed. We'll now cross over to the national anthems of the two teams. Malaysian anthem followed by the host Sri Lankan anthem.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's time for the Sri Lankan national anthem. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, both teams with the national anthems we would have really burned some fires inside them. We'll want to make sure that they get their last hit-outs before we commence the game. First, we look at the visiting team, Malaysian team card, Azri, Amirul and Harit making up the first row for Malaysia. Shobre and Samir in the lock, and also alongside skipper Sarif Etonia is going to be a key man to take a look at, wearing the number 8 jersey, and alongside Ryan James. Former national 7 skipper for Malaysia, Mohammad Nasruddin, will be wearing the number 9 jersey alongside Amir Akil, who will have to do a lot of work for Malaysia, and the two wingers will be Lukman Nur Hakim and Mohammad Diam. Centre pairing will be Samuela alongside R15 with Lukman Hakim in the 15 jersey. Replacements are Nabil, Zakwan, Hakil, Iskander, Suhaim, Abdullah, Amir and Nasreen making up the matchday 23 for Malaysia. For the Sri Lankans, it's been a very interesting team. Johnny Dupulasti Senuru making up the first rows. Navid Marasinghe and Tilna Bandar in the second rows. Nizar, Taranju Chaturanga and Lasidu Karnatalika in the third row. Heshan Johnson and Nigel Ratwat, a tried and tested pairing in that number 10 jersey. Janadu Madhushanka, Janadu Dilshan and Dina Lekanayaka will be the wingers of the game, with Akash Madhushanka and experienced Tanushka Ranjan in the centres, with Murshid Zubair at the back. Here's the kickoff from Akhil. Good collection by Tilna Bandar,
Last
who goes
feed there.
up high. Sri Lanka looking to sit this up.
Use it!
Jansen digging for it, puts the ball up. Chasing that is Ekanayaka, gets his hands on
Knock
it
on
but
advantage.
loses it forward, so advantage in favour of Malaysia. Nazruddin to his big front rower, but a crunching tackle. Nizar and Chaturanga pairing up and fronting up for that. This time Akhil putting the ball to boot, but doesn't find the distance he was looking for. Good collection by Jansen, and just finds touch. 50-22 that time from Heshan Jansen. That would give a real good momentum for Sri Lanka.
Yes, great start for Sri Lanka. Some good defensive work, fast off the line, hitting the Malaysians behind the gain line and forcing Malaysia to go to the boot. And as a result, they managed to collect the ball and from the 50, drill it back in to the Malaysian 22, and they managed to get a line out.
Not very comforting signs for Sri Lanka, because Heshan Jansen, the moment he collected that ball, he looked like he overreached and he limped just before he kicked it as well. Now on the ground, Sri Lanka will be really hoping that it's nothing serious and it's just a little sprain that he will be able to shake off.
The non-throwing team's mark, understood? Okay. Hey, you said your gap. Okay, well, just waiting for the 9 there.
Pace still held up as physios have a look at Sri Lankan scrum half.
Timing of that, timing of the offside, yeah? Wait.
Meantime, you can see the referee just
Numbers,
giving a few
Sri Lanka?
instructions to
Numbers?
both teams
6.
and how he's going to police this line out and what his expectations are.
Only when the ball is his hands.
But going to be an interesting one.
We need to
Tarinder,
go.
what do you reckon? Will they go? Will they set this one up, or do you think Sri Lanka will opt to try and send it out and play fast and open rugby?
Time back on. Wait for the whistle. Let's
I
go
think
again.
that's. I think definitely Sri Lanka would want to set it up here, get a good base, and then work it out. Get the wingers involved early on as well. But it's pretty clear that what Sri Lanka want to do: play territory, play in the right parts of the field, and put pressure on Malaysia.
Beautifully collected by Tilina. One scores the referee. Ball available at the back for Pulasti, the hooker. As Sri Lanka go on that second charge.
Use it now.
Use it is the call from the referee. Still going forward, but referee had already called for it to be used.
Use it, you can't go forward anymore.
I think the referee had
Second
made that
use it,
call to
gotta
use
use
it.
There's the mark.
And Sri Lanka not heeding that call, so the ball has been turned over.
There it is, left of it.
Have to say
Other side,
a
okay.
missed opportunity for Sri Lanka so earlier on in the game.
But a
Once the
huge
referee-
confidence booster as well, I would feel. Sri Lanka eventually had a turnover, but I think eventually it's a confidence booster in terms of being able to shove the Malaysian pack back.
Malaysia, the men in red, now with an opportunity to get out of jail, and that's the first touch for Tonia. Big break from the back. Halfback looking for Akhil, who's looking to clear. This time finds touch. So the intentions are clear from the Malaysians. Anything inside the red zone, they will look to exit. Going to be interesting how both teams adapt to the refereeing of the game. At this level, it's also very important that your
That's 4-1.
adapting becomes
One
quicker
out, Malaysia.
because you're not used to
Go,
these
go, go,
referees, so you need to make sure that you heed to their advice first time. Pulasti, throw, tapped in. Jansen runs into traffic.
Stay there.
Sri Lanka doing well to recycle that ball. Ratwat gives it to
Owen!
Dasanayaka.
Penalty advantage, slowing down.
Now penalty advantage in favor of
Off your feet.
Sri Lanka. Off your feet, no advantage, says the referee. So opportunity for Sri Lanka to get back into the 22 meters of the opposition again.
Yes, it was interesting that last line out, Sri Lanka decided to cut it short, isn't it? They had Navin Marasinghe move to the line, probably using him as a battering ram to create a face. Fortunately, it was not clean ball. Nonetheless, Sri Lanka managing to get a penalty. And Murshid Zubair, no doubt, will try and drive play into the 22, which he does successfully.
Yeah, effectively a second opportunity at the same position that they had the earlier line out. Taris, it's going to be exciting to see what Sri Lanka opts to do, because last time they set a line out here and they set a maul. They did have forward momentum. They just need to be careful of the referee's call.
Once!
This time, quick ball to Nigel Madhushanka, and yes, Danishka Ranjan offloads, and Dore puts in the winger out. Zani Dilshan touches down. That's the first try of the game. Sri Lanka making it look so very easy. Just like Tarinder mentioned earlier, send it to the wingers, create some space in the corner goes. Zanid Dilshan had enough time to celebrate before he scored as well. And just like that, seconds after 5 minutes, Sri Lanka 5 points on the board.
Yes, as we have a look at that once again, bit of magic by Nigel Ratwat. Just look at that flick on pass. Just wonderful vision, knew exactly where his support players were. Wonderful touch right into Murshid's hands, and drawing and making that final pass for Janindu Dilshan to put the finishing touches.
If you look at the replay, I think what happened was the gap was created because the Malaysian number 13 was indecisive as to whether he should go for the guy veering on the back door or go for the short man, and that gap was wide open for Danushka Ranjan to go, and that's where it all started. A good base also from the line out, which allowed the boys to get a good platform to unleash the dangerous backline that is Sri Lanka.
Malaysia had to make sure that they commit players to that maul, because earlier forward momentum did really hurt them. So this time they had plenty of men committed, but Sri Lanka making use of that and sending it out wide. Restart from Makil. This time Tilina lifted, they couldn't get their hands on it, so lost forward is the call from referee.
No advantage, lost forward.
Yes, if that last play was any indication, I think it's pretty evident how Sri Lanka would like to play this game, isn't it, Tarinder? Probably play it in the outside flanks as much as possible.
Thank you, that first one was perfect. Let's keep it there for the rest of the game.
Yes, it actually seems very similar to last year as well, where we knew we definitely have the speed on the outside to beat any team and take them one-on-one. But it all depends actually on the platform that is created by the forwards, and how good the forwards are today would determine how good we'll be able to finish most of our moves.
Yeah, he's fine there.
Opportunity for Malaysia. Here's Antonia
Penalty advantage.
trying to break advantage in favor of Malaysia.
9 white offside. 9
That
white
time
offside.
Jansen was found offside. Some good work from Lasan Karunathaluka to come through. There was no problem with him, but Jansen had been offside from the earlier scrum. Opportunity now for Malaysia to put points on the board. They will want to make sure that they try and convert this one. Amirul Akil.
I did.
The chosen man. That was the lost forward.
Yes, I think Lasindu was a bit distracted by Tilna Bandara being lifted up. Just went over his head, and Lasindu probably unsighted momentarily, which resulted in the knock-on. So an opportunity for Malaysia to get their first points on the board.
No!
Easy action, no is the call. There was an assistant referee who got in the way of Jansen, who wanted to collect that ball.
Say again. Knock on. Time off.
Sri Lankan players
Yes. He
protesting.
bumped into you. I'm going to give 5 minutes scrum there. Okay, captain. What happened was he bumped into the AR running towards the touchline. I'm just going to go over scrum here for them. Okay. Right.
So collision with the assistant referee, prompting the referee to award a scrum in favour of
Accidental obstruction.
Sri Lanka.
There
Accidental
we go.
obstruction.
There we go.
The kick was
Yes, it went right across the post.
Crouch!
An interesting call, isn't it, Sudarshan? Not very often do you see an obstruction by the linesman,
Stay there.
but
Stay there.
it's always a first. So Jansen feeds the ball into the scrum. Big scrum by the Malaysians.
massive pressure, absolutely massive pressure from Malaysia.
No, that's not the mark. There it is.
Atonia
Not
trying to take
breaking
it
up.
quickly. Interesting
And
call
number
this
3
because
wide, down.
They might go for the scrum again.
Scrum.
I'd go for 3 points. It puts you ahead of your
Space.
opposition
Space, both of you two. Okay.
because you've gotten 2 scoring opportunities. Yes, you flunked the first one, but this one is at a very easy angle. But
Yeah. Let's keep it up, yeah?
I think it's a give. It's a 50-50 call. I would be the same. I would obviously maybe analytically at that moment people will say it's not the right decision. But when you're on the field, when your pack has dominated, just like the previous scrum, why not give it one more try?
Stay.
this time a good solid scrum from Sri Lanka. Atonia going all the way. Has he scored?
Time off.
Time off. The referee will take a look at
No grounding.
this one. The grounding is okay, and that's the try. Malaysia replying straight away. It took them 5 minutes, all right. But they get a try on their own. 5 points all,
Here
with
we
the
go, yeah.
conversion to come, which should be regulation for them. But the big naturalized Fijian for Malaysia, making his way through. Atonia Waka reaching out and scoring that one. Just brilliant work.
Yes, using his reach to good effect. But I think Sri Lankan scrum is being put on notice. They've just got to ensure, at least when it's their ball, that it's a quick strike and it comes out.
Yes.
Because just a couple of scrums we've just seen, Malaysia just seem to have the upper hand in that area.
So 7 points to 5 with the conversion going through. Malaysia in the lead now. Ratwata this time. Nobody wants it. Little dink by the halfback. Karnatilika. Now to the Ray, who drops it cold. Took his eyes off the ball just before he caught it. Maybe thought of the long pass that he wanted to give his winger.
Just a little over eager there,
Behind him, okay?
Dore. I think he had already made up his mind what he wanted to do, and knowing him, I knew what he was trying to do.
What do you want
But
to
I
do
think
here?
just a
Can't do
little
literally
over eager there.
Just at that moment, just taking his eyes off the ball just before he caught it.
Crouch!
Not a nice feeling right on the middle of the field, but very experienced man. The Ray will shake it off. Here's Malaysia looking to attack, and out comes time. Atonia, good pressure from Sri Lanka. trying to put them under pressure. Nizar needed to release and roll away.
Pressure on Sri Lanka already now.
Off your feet. Stay up.
Not supporting his body weight,
Shot.
Nizar.
Shot, please.
And straight away, Malaysia now
Yep.
calling for the shot. They know they can double their lead, go on to 10 points.
This accuracy at the breakdown is going to be really important in this game. It's an area where referees are going to penalize the defensive team if they don't allow a fair contest. Nizran on that
got 40
occasion
seconds
needed
left on
to
that
release once he was off his feet, but wasn't the case. Some good pressure applied there by Mara Singh initially, and followed up by Nizar. But as you can see, it's just not supporting his body weight.
Akil now with an opportunity. Not getting the connection right, and will allow Nigel Ratwate to put ball to boot. Beg your pardon,
Line out.
Dore to put ball to boot.
So Darshan, I'm sure many
Jump
people would
across,
hope
yeah?
it was Ratwata who was kicking that out, but he's up here in the commentary with us.
The other Ratwata is playing.
It's fine. It can be less. Not more.
Amiru with the throw in. It's going to be an important line out for Malaysia. Goes to number 2. Good collection. Lovely defensive work by Sri Lanka, marking the man.
Move!
Coming right up. Great defensive line speed. Putting Malaysia under pressure.
No words!
Nishant being physical in his first debut jersey.
Six.
Again,
Six.
over
Discipline,
eager.
please.
The ball didn't come out of the ruck for him to do that.
This is where it's going to hurt Sri Lanka, and
Nige,
we
your
need
six has
to
got play
settle
rugby
down.
from now on. It's not
And
good
I think
enough.
that's where Nigel's experience will come in, and just tell the boys to take a breath, focus on what they have to do, and don't be too eager. As you can see, the ball was not out of the ruck yet, but Sri Lanka really needs to settle down so that they can play in the right parts of the field.
Absolutely. I think the scores now could have been 13 points to 5 if the 2 kicks had gone through. Opportunity for Malaysia now, and Akil to get his 3rd penalty on spot. His connections haven't been ideal. This time around again, the direction not good. Sri Lanka opting to run. Ekanaika cuts back inside. Good cover
Got it,
tackle
got
by
Never
James.
lost. It's outside. It's outside. He's outside. So taken back. Use
Taken
it.
back is a call from the referee. Johnson. Clearance from the base. Samuela kicking across the field, doesn't find us. Dore now has time and has Janidu Dilshan. Here's Janidu. Puts ball to boot, and now it's a foot race. A little too much on that kick, and it will roll over. Unfortunately for the Tuskers in white, but the intention was good from Janidu Dilshan. He saw that everybody had come up.
Inside. No, scrum.
It's all positive signs for Sri Lanka at the moment. They know that they have the speed on the outside, and I think that's where we should stick to as a team. Sri Lanka should stick to the
Let's hold the
outsides
gap a little longer.
because that is
hold the gap a little
definitely
longer.
our biggest strength.
Malaysia, on the other hand, will be disappointed at the points that they've left on the field. 9 points to be exact. If the score could have read
Let's go.
16 points to 5. Opportunity now again for Malaysia as they try to attack
Point.
from inside the opposition
Six.
half. Nasruddin. Etonia. A little dink from the fly off. Here's some stepping. Good continuity, and Afridian comes away with it.
Off.
Malaysia showing great potential and some momentum. Here's James. Forwards getting in on the act into the 5 meters. Malaysia grinding. Good defensive work this time by
Let it come.
Bandara,
Use it.
managing to stop the forward on his tracks.
Away.
Shobre tucking it in for the Malaysians.
No hands. No
Here's the
ball.
big Etonia.
Use it.
Use it, says the referee. Right underneath the
Away,
post.
no
Malaysia
hands.
only couple of feet away from the try line. Now they have to go out wide. Long cut out pass, pace, but cover defense is good from Sri Lanka, and Afridian has to cut back inside. Samuel are now trying to go on his own. James has been stopped. Intercepted by Nigel Rapata. Here's a counter-attacking move. Pulasti. Jansen puts ball to boot. It's a foot race here. Nasruddin tracking that ball and kicks it out. That's brilliant work from Sri Lanka. And Ratwate did absolutely very well. Trying to take it quickly. Quickly taken by Sri Lanka.
To do that, Nige.
The line
No
that
line
was
out,
quickly
only two
taken
wide.
was lost forward.
Happy ball was alive.
Here's the adjudication by the referee, assisted by his assistant referee.
Did you open the high tackle because they kicked it out and you made a mistake?
Brilliant
That's not my
defense
fault.
on
It's
Sri
done.
Lanka's part. I mean, it started at the 5-meter line on Sri Lanka's half, and
Come on, let's go.
a little bit of brilliance from Nigel Ratwata, and we're all the way on the other side of the field.
Yes, the good part about that play, isn't it, Tarinder, was that they showed good composure and discipline, isn't it? They were not
Next one will be
over-eager,
water
like
break.
we saw with Nizran on the previous couple of occasions. They just held their line, stayed patient, and waited for the opportunity to pounce on the ball.
Point.
Absolutely.
Sit.
Interesting move where Nigel comes into the scrum. I haven't seen him play flanker before. Akil puts ball to boot, and that's a massive territorial advantage for Sri Lanka, who gets a line out inside the 22 meters, but referee have decided to take a small water break as we enter the 21st minute of the game. It's very, very humid conditions. Game so far has been helter-skelter. Malaysia have been asking a lot of questions, but Sri Lanka, due to their defensive discipline, gentlemen, they've managed to hold the score to 5 points to 7. But what Sri Lanka will be happy at the fact is that every time they've come to the red zone, they've gone out with points. They've gotten 5 points. It was just that 5 minutes at the beginning of the game, Sri Lanka really dominated territory. They have points to show for it. Now they will want to make sure that they start from scratch and they get some points back.
Yes, tactically as well, I think Sri Lanka will need to try and play the game with a bit more width.
Doesn't matter. Just
Don't think they want to get into a physical confrontation. I think that's where their strength lies. The stop and start nature of the game may probably benefit the Malaysians, isn't it, Tarinder? So tactically, I think that's something which they will need to look at.
I mean, it's a little obvious that Malaysia is going to play through their star-studded Fijians and that's where they have attacked. Keep it close, really not spread it out too wide too early, and keep it close, attack the fringes and trying to overpower them with the weight that they might have over some of the Sri Lankans. On the other hand, Sri Lanka is playing a lot more free-flowing rugby, a lot of kicking, trying to chip it over the top. Dina Lekanayaka is one of the best under the high ball, especially when we are kicking. And I think, like I said before, the two wide channels is definitely where we would dominate. And I think as Sri Lanka progresses and settles down in this game, we'll see a lot more of that.
Yet again, this time setting it up, Sri Lanka. They are marching their way forward. Malaysia guilty of not committing enough men. Antonia trying to disrupt that. He had absolutely no way that he was going to come through the correct channel. Needed to roll away as well. Johnson to Bandara. Bandara tucks it in. Quick pick and go by the Sri Lankan first rower.
Number on your collapse, please, JP.
Johnson, referee playing advantage in favor of Sri Lanka. Nizar. Ratwata, Madhushan. Danushka Ranjan with the try. Head back try from Sri Lanka, and the crowd erupts here at the racecourse. It's a nice Saturday afternoon to enjoy some international test rugby here at Colombo.
Okay. We can't have that. He's going to go into the bin.
Danushka Ranjan touches down for Sri Lanka, and just like that, every time Sri Lanka goes to their backs, they look absolutely dangerous. Madhushanka did the correct thing by straightening it up, holding it a second longer, and Ranjan says thank you very much.
Yes, I also think that the Malaysian defense was in two minds. I think they were concerned about Nigel Ratwata wrapping around as well. And it's just that moment of indecision in defense enabled Ranjan to break that tackle and go over for Sri Lanka's second try.
10 points to 7. The rare opportunity to make it 12, and this time around has absolutely no problem. Murshid Zubair put Sri Lanka to 12 points with that conversion. Sri Lanka will be absolutely delighted that they've managed to see off a wave after wave after wave of Malaysian attack. Malaysia, on the other hand, will be disappointed that they don't have any points to show for the dominance that they had in that 10 minutes prior to Sri Lanka scoring. Johnson now putting the ball to boot. Ekanayaka just missed out on intercepting that ball. Good work done by Lokman Nur Hakim. Nasri. Shabri now. Shoved back in the tackle.
Again. Everybody on their feet.
Here's Nasruddin putting the ball up. Lost forward this the call from the referee. I believe it was Nigel who couldn't collect that ball cleanly.
It's all right. That's good.
Yeah, if you want to. Whatever you want to do, if you want to bring someone from the back line. Let's go.
Another
lads.
big scrum
Let's go.
for Sri Lanka. Just have been found slightly wanting on a couple of occasions.
Crouch.
I think
Point. Sit.
There's no doubt that Malaysians will try to bring Samuela into the game. He's standing relatively flat and in front of the fly half.
Right.
It could be a double bluff as well, Abdullah, because the focus will be on him because he's right next to the fly half. Don't forget, Antonia has been a good strong carrier at the base of the ruck scrum as well. So we'll look to try and break, put some pressure, hold on to that third rowers who are trying to mark him, and then Samola coming into the attack. But the experienced men of Sri Lankan backline will want to make sure that they have an eye on him.
Sit.
It seems like it was Ekanaika who did lose that ball forward, not Nigel Rathwatta. Samola, Akhil.
Good defensive read.
Very good defensive read again by Johnny the Dilshan. James. Nisar going low. Zakil.
Oh, monstrous.
Monstrous tackle. That time, the combination of the two front rows, Senura and Pulasti. Here's a nothing kick. Opportunity for Sri Lanka. They are dangerous in counter. That's a witty interception. Just had to put his hands up.
The spectators on the ground would have seen that intercept a mile away, as he was just read it like a book.
That's another big hit on Samuela.
Let's go.
Sri Lankans definitely
yes.
putting their body on the line in terms of
go.
defense.
Well, they've been wanting to
I
make
know
sure
we're in the
that
shade, but it's not a break.
they
Let's go.
bring that physical intensity into this game. The Sri Lankan team may be
Get a ward off.
slightly smaller compared to their Malaysian counterparts.
Yes.
Malaysia, on the other hand, have tried to take the fight to Sri Lanka, but Sri Lanka, take a look at that. Absolute coach's dream. The two front rowers, the hooker and your prop, getting together and delivering that big boom fire.
I think that is something that is very underrated when it comes to Sri Lanka rugby, where even last year we were underestimated as well. Our defense has been absolutely phenomenal the last 2 years.
That's a big win in the context of the game, Sudarshana. Sri Lanka getting a penalty from the scrum.
One
So
elbow
that's
up, please.
encouraging signs.
You gave him nothing to bind
They
on.
can just win the battle up front. Give their three quarters the opportunity to execute their skills.
Guilty party that time was Mohammad Asri, number 1 for Malaysia, putting his elbow up, not binding correctly. So opportunity for Sri Lanka, who are looking to play their territorial game. It takes a lot. Yes, Malaysia might have the same
Ball,
kind
let's
of weather
Two
back
receivers,
at home,
one out.
but to get used to this humidity is not very easy. This time, opting to go to the third pot. Yet again, Tilna Bandar with safe hands. Navid Marasinghe with a good break, but loses the ball forward.
Bye.
Akash Madhushankar doing the clearing work.
By White. By White. Play advantage, knock on.
Lost forward advantage in favor of Malaysia, and yet again some very good defensive work. Referee bringing play back to the earlier lost forward of Navid Marasinghe.
I think Sri Lanka has got their tails up.
Let's
They're
go.
willing to run a lot more direct, which is a
Angle,
good
go
sign.
square.
And
Okay, gonna go there.
defensively, Sri Lanka has been fabulous.
Good with you.
Yes, they will be coming off the line, hitting the Malaysians behind that gain line.
Let's go.
And it has forced Akhil to put boot to ball on a number of occasions for a lack of options.
Bind. Sit.
I think also Malaysia is slightly struggling with the wind factor, where Sri Lanka is playing with the wind.
Here's Dore. Madhushankar. Ekanaika to Ranjan. Ranjan looking to run outside. Ranjan in the corner makes the ball available. Ekanaika with a pick and go. Quick ball. Opted to go on the shorter side. Taneja Chaturanga. He knows it. He's disappointed. Ideally should have gone on the open side. Kept the momentum going. Malaysia, on the other hand, I think despite the momentum shifting towards Sri Lanka, all they need to do is to try and keep it under wraps, try and settle down, because with ball in hand, they also look very dangerous. The only problem is they haven't had the territory they would have liked. Gone to number 3. Here's Samuel loses it like a wet bar of soap. Pressure mounting in. Wanted to look at the defenders and thought about what he was going to do to the defenders. Meantime, lost focus on the ball.
Yes, a great attacking opportunity for Sri Lanka. Almost center field. Got either side which they can utilize. I think Tarinder, Sri Lanka just need to try and create those one-on-one situations as far as possible in terms of the backs, isn't it? And I think they do have the speed and the guile to get around this Malaysian three-quarter defense.
Yes, I think we should have a little bit more confidence to take the outside guys one-on-one.
Akash Madhushanka says, no one will touch me. There was one scored by my partner, I'll take 1-2. Third score for Sri Lanka, and this time it's the number 12, Akash Madhushanka touching down, and Sri Lanka making it look so very easy every time they go to their backs.
Absolutely, and as you can see, the Malaysian defense probably overreading things, you'd have to say. Just worried about the wraparound moves, not worrying about what is in front of them. And Akash running a very straight line, breaking a couple of tackles and going over for Sri Lanka's third try.
I think it all boils down to a good platform created by the Sri Lanka forwards, which allows, again, one-on-one matchups with the Malaysia backline, which Sri Lanka at the moment is dominating.
Conversion good as well from Dore, so the score will climb up to 19 points. And Malaysia now in trouble, because so what you don't want is from your end to let the host country get away from you. It's going to be difficult to play that catch-up game, especially in these difficult conditions.
Got to be better on that maul defense. That's basically
Yes, as we have a look at that try once again, a wonderful angle by Akash. Just running between that 10-12 channel, creating a bit of doubt in the defense.
Use it.
Use it is a call from the ref as Jansen hoists it high. Ekanaika collects it brilliantly. It's offloaded to Mara Singha. And this time knocked on as adjudicated by the referee. But wonderful chase by Dinal Ekanaika. The combination of Heshan Jensen and Ekanaika have done it numerous times for their club, and carrying on in the same vein for the national team as well.
Really good support line by Naveen Marasinghe as well. Just a little over-eager again. I think it's a little evident that a few of the debutants trying to do too much whereas they have to just be like, okay, calm down, I just have to do what I'm supposed to do and everything else will happen.
It's Karnataka Jansen. This time Dinal Ekanaika, one man to beat. Dinal Ekanaika will go all the way. And just like that, Sri Lanka touching down for their fourth. If this continues, it's going to be a long afternoon for Malaysia, who are now being hit one after the other. Take a look at this, just brilliant move by Ekanaika. Yet again, Samuel are guilty of overshooting and creating that space in the defensive line. And Ekanaika says, thank you very much, I'll score, but I'll put on the dive for the photograph.
Yes, I think it's just a matter of creating the one-on-one situations, isn't it? And if Sri Lanka can continue to do that, could see this score mounting pretty quickly. As we see,
I think it's also off the base of the scrum, having so many options, which is also giving or confusing the Malaysian defense, making them shoot up and not be in a cohesive line, which is opening up the short balls for the Sri Lankan backs.
so Murshid making no mistake with the conversion. As we have a look at that once again, it's very simple, but it's just that you feel that the Malaysian defense is reading a bit too much into what Sri Lanka is going to do rather than what they are doing. And Ekanaika using a wonderful change of pace to put the finishing touches as Akil restarts play, collected cleanly by Murshid. Zubair makes a half break, offloads to Nilar. Got to spread it out wide. Ratwat, the referee, has his hands out for an advantage. Quick hands. Not quite sure whether that pass was necessary. Nonetheless, Janindu Dilshan trying to offload.
Sorry, 2-1. No.
Lost forward that time again, being a little over eager. Continuity is sublime, yes, but sometimes you need to make sure that you put a cap on that and try and recycle, because Malaysians were backpedaling at that time.
It's just forcing the issue, as you can say. Niger straightening that line out. Some good hands. Fortunately,
Space.
Kesh trying to make that skip pass, not going into Janindu's hands in the first instance.
You could see Nigel telling the boys, keep it together, don't try to force things.
Here's Etonia breaking.
Away.
Malaysia now will look to put up a few faces. Good strong carry by Shobre, who has carried strong. Third phase now for Malaysia. Akil looking to go through the defensive line. Absolutely brilliant defense by Sri Lanka to put Harit on his back. Lost forward advantage in favor of the
Away,
red
no hands
shirts.
on the ball.
Get onside, boys, get onside.
Got to really commend the defensive effort, but the Sri Lankans are looking to go
Pass forward, no advantage.
hard and low on these Malaysian players, making life difficult for
Time
them.
off, injury. Yes.
There's one thing Sri Lanka has done really well is they've not allowed Malaysia to win the gain line battle, isn't it? They've come off the line, hit the Malaysians on the back, and that just hasn't given the Malaysians the momentum they would like.
Starting to go in a little bit early.
Just shows the individual brilliance of a couple of players. Is the Tarindas just opened this scoreline to such an extent where Sri Lanka comfortably positioned, 26 points to 7, just about 90 seconds remaining in this first half.
Let's go.
I think also this heat, people don't understand or underestimate. It's very energy sapping, and any opposition or any country or team that is not used to this can play a toll as well. And I think a couple of Malaysians are already feeling it. So we'll probably be able to see how it will affect them in the second half.
Sit.
Less than 2 minutes to go on our clock. As Etonia breaks and finds Akil on to Afiruddin. Puts ball to boot. Here's Karunatilaka. Not an easy man to stop, so very good work by Afiruddin. Sri Lanka now with possession. Short ball
No hands, tackler away.
to Bandara.
Tackler there, thank you, Captain.
Jansen
It's right there.
trying to
Get it
protest
out.
that the ball is not out and he's being held. Now goes to his forwards.
You had it, no one held on.
Senator Pereira tucking that in. Here's a big carry by Navin Marasinghe. Subair to Ranjan. Quick ball coming out. Ratwata. Space. Had plenty of men on the outside, but Pulasti decided to go. Ratwata. Nigel Ratwata on the move. Needs support. Arrives in the form of Nisar. Nisar now finds Jansen. Onto the corner. Dilshan. Dilshan gets away from Samuela. That was a high shot. Referee playing advantage. Madhushankar into the 5 meters. Madhushankar going again. Needs to make the ball available. Jansen now to Nigel. Marasinghe, little jiggle. Marasinghe, and I will go all the way for Sri Lanka's 5th try of the game as the clock goes past the 40-minute mark. Sri Lanka 31 points to 7. Big Marasinghe score on debut. Absolute brilliant stuff for the young lad who had been fast-tracked into this national outfit. Absolutely justifying his selection.
Time off.
What a moment for the young
Foul
lad.
play. Checking foul play.
Congratulations
Red.
to him on his first try as in the national
is off.
jersey, but all in all, what continuity from Sri Lanka. All the way from their half, again, just phase after phase, break after break, and the score was inevitable.
It's just the ability to break those one-on-one tackles, isn't it, Tarinder? It's been really impressive, especially from the 3 quarters. Forwards are doing their bit in terms of making the ball available. It's a good place and pick by Akash. It's creating a little bit of momentum. You can see Jensen, he wants quick ball. Again, a brilliant take by Nigel. And Navin Marasinghe using his way to good effect to barge over for Sri Lanka's 5th try.
Well, 6 tries have been scored in this game so far, and with that groundbreaking initiative which was implemented by Sri Lanka Rugby in partnership with
We had 2
Asia
high
Rugby,
tackles, direct neck contact,
Sri Lanka
direct contact to the neck by 12 red.
Rugby
Therefore,
joining
yellow
up.
card.
I will continue after
So
this
the
as
problem was it was 2
double blow.
that moved up.
Yes, looks like things are going to get a whole lot more difficult for the Malaysians. Looks like it's Samuela who has to leave the field. There were 2 dangerous tackles being made,
It is half time
both
after.
making contact with the neck of a couple of Sri Lankans. So things are just getting a lot more difficult for the Malaysians as Murshid Zubair makes no mistake with the conversion. And Sri Lanka going to halftime, 33 points to 7.
Oh, what a brilliant half for the Sri Lankans. Coming back to what I was mentioning, Sri Lanka Rugby partnering up with Asia Rugby to plant a tree for every single try that is being scored throughout any of the Asian tournaments. So this game so far has gifted 7 trees to Mother Earth, which is brilliant, and we really earnestly hope that we will have a lot more trees that we give to Mother Earth in the second 40. But a great half for the host team, putting up a tremendous performance and gathering up 33 points to the solitary score of the visiting Malaysian side. As we take a look at the halftime confirmation, 33 points to 7. We'll go for a quick commercial break, but do not go anywhere because an interesting second half is on the cards.
ලස්සන ෆන් ලෝකයේ කොත්තු මිසර විහිදේ කීර්තික සිත බ්‍රන්දවා කෙරේ ෆයිවන ෆැෂන් අපේ හීට් එක වැදේ වටේ hot and spicy guess what there is
cricket, horse racing, football ඇතුළු තවත් ක්‍රීඩා රැසක්. stbet.com ලංකාවේ අංක එකේ betting site එක. වැඩියෙන් play කරන්න, වැඩියෙන් win කරන්න. cricket, horse racing, football ඇතුළු තවත් ක්‍රීඩා රැසක්. stbet.com ලංකාවේ අංක එකේ betting site එක. වැඩියෙන් play කරන්න, වැඩියෙන් win කරන්න.
ලස්සන ෆන් ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සැර විහිදේ කීර්තික සිත බ්‍රන්දවා කෙරේ ෆයිවන ෆැෂන් අපේ හීට් එක වැදේ වටේ hot and spicy guess මත්තේ මේ රසේ
dance එක hit වෙන්නේ move එක set වෙන්නේ
දිව ගැසේවි දැන්නේ රසේ කොත්තුමි happening මේ රස්තට උඩ යන්නේ hot and spicy විසේ වගේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆන් තමයි.
cricket, horse racing, football and more. stbet.com, Sri Lanka's #1 betting site. Play big, win big.
Watch the stars of Sri Lanka at the biggest franchise T20 league in the world on www.ThePapare.com for just 249 rupees.
Cricket, horse racing, football and more. stbet.com, Sri Lanka's #1 betting site. Play big, win big.
ලස්සන ෆන් ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සැර විහිදේ කීර්තික සිත බ්‍රන්දවා කෙරේ ෆයිවන ෆැෂන් අපේ හීට් එක වැදේ වටේ hot and spicy guess මත්තේ මේ රසේ
dance එක hit වෙන්නේ move එක set වෙන්නේ
දිව ගැසේවි දැන්නේ රසේ කොත්තුමි happening මේ රස්තට උඩ යන්නේ hot and spicy විසේ වගේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆන් තමයි.
Just a little bit of
The ball really well here watching in Sri Lanka on ThePapare or Dialog TV.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare. ThePapare.
cricket, horse racing, football and more. stbet.com, Sri Lanka's #1 betting site. Play big, win big.
Welcome back to the Racecourse grounds as we prepare to commence proceedings of this all-important encounter between Sri Lanka and Malaysia. It's a qualification round to get into the top tier of Asian rugby. And so far, the Sri Lanka team, would have to say, have delivered and delivered splendidly, comfortably leading 33 points to 7. As we look at the
facility
first
here
half
at,
highlights, there were some wonderful tries by the Sri Lankan outfit.
Game started with Sri Lanka opening the scoring through a beautiful move. Danushka Ranjan running a brilliant line, and Janitha Dilshan profiting from that incredible work from his inside backs, touching down in the corner. It was quick response from Malaysia through their brilliant number 8, Etonia, scoring that try, and then Danushka Ranjan had one of his own to take the lead back. The Ray this time was on spot. Every time Sri Lanka looked to run with their backs, Akash Madhushanka was the man touching down next for Sri Lanka. This got the home team rolling. Yet again, going to the backs, and Dinar Lekanayaka, the recently concluded domestic league's highest try scorer, doing what he does best. Touches down for another score, and Janitha Dilshan this time was tackled high. Samuela having to sit on the naughty chair for 10 minutes. Madhushanka bringing the ball onto the 5 meters, and
Great patience shown as well from the Sri Lankans as well. Slight juggle, but Marasinga doing Marasinga things.
Absolutely. Tarun, just would like to get your views on what would have been said at halftime. Isn't it Sri Lanka comfortably ahead? I'm sure they wouldn't want to let their guard down. What exactly do you think the words would have come from the captain and the coach at halftime?
I feel mostly it will be all calm inside the changing rooms, but also the message would be to stay calm, not try to do too much, let the game come to them, play in the right parts of the field, and just attack on the outsides. As before, we see lovely tries from Sri Lanka, off very good platforms from the scrums and the line out. And if Sri Lanka sticks to that game plan, I think Malaysia will have a long day.
Yes, need to keep in mind that the Malaysians will be down to 14 players as well. They will be without their influential inside centre, Samuela Tamanisau. So no doubt Sri Lanka will try and make maximum use of that extra man advantage they have.
Match officials of the game, Jacko DeWitt, the man in the middle, assisted by JP Clement and J. Ayman. Ayman, of course, the first official from Saudi Arabia officiating in an Asian rugby game, first tier game. Jacko DeWitt, absolutely no stranger to Sri Lanka, officiated in the first leg of largely popular Bradby Shield as well in Sri Lanka. Here's
I think also on the Malaysian front, they really need to stick to their guns, keep it simple, not playing too unstructured rugby, keep it tight as they did, as we saw them score the first try, and see how they can do. It can keep it tight.
That's not the start Malaysia would have wanted. That ball was passed into the 22, and Akil kicking it out on the full, resulting in a line out for Sri Lanka.
There you go.
Sri Lanka will just, as Tarinda mentioned, will need to just continue to show some patience, not try and do too much. And if they do that, the points will come. Pulasti with the throw-in. But Sri Lanka have lost that ball, but the line out was closed, so it's a penalty in favor of Sri Lanka.
In there.
closing the gap that time, and I think Malaysians will have
Guys,
to
we
make
can't
sure
go over the
that
line and
they
barge
try
into
and
it.
adjust
Scrum.
and acclimatize to the wind being behind them. Now, like Tarinda mentioned, they were kicking against the wind, so you can't have that same intensity or force when you're trying to kick with the wind here at the racecourse. The skipper of the Sri Lankan outfit, Nigel Ratwate.
It's interesting, Sri Lanka have opted for a scrum,
Crouch.
have a one-man advantage
Point.
in the threes.
Sit.
No doubt they'll be looking to make use of that.
Jansen with the put in. Ball doesn't
Use
come
it.
out easy. Use it. The call from the referee. Ekanaika looking to go through the middle. That's a brilliant tackling work by the Malaysian number 8, Tonia. Was right on top of that ball. Ekanaika was isolated.
We were going on about Sri Lanka's defense. I think Malaysia has to be given the credit. Some really good defense over there, marking up the Sri Lanka
Let's
backs
fix
and
them up
making sure that
quickly.
they do not get loose.
He's out of play.
Yes, Tarinda, just heard your vibes encouraging the team to send it out wide, not take it in play. They did have a couple of men out wide who are unmarked, but probably were looking to try and create an extra phase, isn't it, before spreading it.
Time back on, he's on his feet, let's go.
The touch from the penalty didn't get the desired mileage that Malaysia would have liked, but now it's on them to try and get a secure ball. Opting to go to the last spot. Lovely collection from Malaysia.
Stop.
Now Akil putting the ball to boot. The
Backwards.
race underneath it. Lost back. Dilshan in the corner. Dilshan steps outside. So
JP.
territorial gain for Malaysia
It's good, don't
as they
take
come into the opposition 50.
Yes, you can yet see the tension on the Sri Lankan bench. Sure, they'll want to continue in the same way. Coach Sanat Matis, manager Rohan Chintaka, still feel that a lot more to play for. Sri Lanka comfortably ahead, 33-7.
Sri Lanka not shying away from taking the one-on-one battles. Unfortunately, again, great defense from Malaysia on the outside. But I can see Sri Lanka growing in confidence and not shying away from taking that one-on-one.
Yes, as we have a look at that replay once again, Janindu Dilshan very nearly managing to get around his opposite number, but I think it was Lukman Hakim using the touchline to good advantage.
This time pressure from Sri Lanka, but Malaysia coming away with it. Bekatonia with a carry. Sri Lanka managing to get him down. Malaysia now. Another big tackle on him by Senra Pereira. Akil forced to kick the ball. Dore
Good.
opts to run.
Release now, tackler, release. Let go.
Pulasti for Sri Lanka, tucking it in. Jansen opts to go on the shorter side. Madhushankar back to Dore. Yes, Dore. Nisar, big tackle on him, forcing the ball to tar out of him. Now Malaysia needs to try and settle down, recycle. Advantage in favor of them. Advantage over their kicking hasn't been ideal. Sube. Dilshan cutting back inside is Ranjan. Yes, Ranjan still on the move. Dore back to Ekanaika. Ekanaika with the fend off, and Dinal Ekanaika will go in for his second. Brilliant stuff, too much pace, and with a big no argue, he runs around And Sri Lanka increasing their scoreline to 38 points.
Yes, once again, just creating those one-on-one situations, and the Malaysian defense, absolutely no match for the running skills of the Sri Lankan three quarters. Lovely switch play, Ranjan evading a couple of tackles, just offloading at the correct moment. Zubair understanding where his support was. Ekanaika, good communication with his fullback, and on a one-on-one situation, that's an area where he's absolutely brilliant and puts the finishing touches for another Sri Lankan score.
I think if you go back from that box kick from Malaysia, what happened was there were no chasers. Only one player chased, and that created many opportunities for Dore to either run, kick, pass it, and that is where I think the opportunity was created. And as the saying goes, a kick is only as good as its chase, and there goes the conversion. Dore having a good day with the boot.
A rousing applause for Hishan Jansen, who's been given the marching orders by coach Sanat Maris, with Mohammad Rifan coming in his place. So coach Maris wanting to make sure that he keeps his chargers fresh, and wanted to make sure that lovely bit of work, lovely understand. This is what you want from your backs, isn't it? The passer knowing exactly where the runner will be. Kickoff from Malaysia goes into the hands of Dilshan. Dilshan running straight, big hit on him.
Last beat.
Absolutely smashed there.
Taken back, taken back. Backwards of red.
Backwards from Malaysia, says the referee. Malaysia have been guilty of kicking without direction or any plan behind it.
Attack, knock on.
Brilliant line speed from Sri Lanka.
Just
referee Chakodevit also looking at the lighter side of that. A little bit of footballing antics, if you may, a header.
It's one thing Malaysia have really struggled is the ability to get over the gain line, isn't it? And I think that's just a tribute to Sri Lanka's tremendous commitment in defense. It's forced Akhil to kick the ball whenever they have been hit behind the gain line, and they've just not been able to generate any momentum whatsoever.
Crouch. Right, get in.
That again also has to be attributed to Sri Lanka's defense, which has been outstanding today, with some big hits coming from the Sri Lanka forwards, and also Mohammad Rifan right there taking down the big number 8.
Thank you.
It's not easy, Tonia. Almost triple his size ball now. Ripped off. Rifan. Madhushankar. Ranjan. Here's Ekanaika going for his hat-trick. Ekanaika. Nobody will catch him. Denal Ekanaika with a hat-trick. What a day for this winger. Highest scorer of the domestic league. Highest try scorer of the domestic league. Wanting to make sure that he continues his good work. Behind Zayat Rajaratnov, Havelock Sports Club, he was the highest try scorer of the league and knockout winning Kandy outfit, and Dinal Ekanaika is putting a showcase here at a Racecourse for the national side.
Yes, again Sri Lanka thriving in running against some unstructured defense. Just very simple, isn't it? Danushka Ranjan just holding up the defense, drawing and passing, and in Ekanaika with that kind of space, no one was going to stop him. As Sri Lanka just keep mounting the points.
Well, yet again a reminder about the Try a Tree initiative, a groundbreaking initiative by Sri Lanka Rugby, and Sri Lanka Rugby team is absolutely backing that up, Abdullah. They have absolutely delivered as Murshid Dore has been
Will do for you, thank you.
absolutely on spot with his conversions.
3 off.
47 points to 7.
Okay, time is off.
Yes, it looks like Lasindu Karunatilaka has made way for Dahan Wickramarachchi by the looks of it.
Time back on, let's go.
Coach Sanath Martis giving as many players an opportunity to get a taste of international rugby. As Malaysia restart proceedings, Rifan collects, gets it out
Stop White.
to Murshid, who sends the ball into touch safely. Line out just about 5 meters outside the 25.
Open up.
Opportunity for Malaysia. They've come into the opposition territory after a long wait in this second half. 51 minutes, 10 minutes into the second half.
And they've been
Nisar.
restored to 15 men as well.
It's Malaysia
Away!
trying a line out, ploy, a back peel, good recycle ball.
No hands.
Sri Lanka defense once again holding strong, trying to switch sides. Ratwata making that initial tackle, well supported
Thank you. Good work. No
by
work.
his mates. Pick and go by Aminul.
The hooker from
Penalty
Malaysia,
advantage.
he is
High
Sharifuddin digging for the
Three
ball.
White.
Opting to
Penalty
go with the
advantage.
forwards. This is very good from Malaysia. Azri now
Set now.
earning couple of meters. It's going to
Penalty
be
advantage again.
advantage again for Malaysia.
That go far. Time off. Time off.
Referee
Todd's it.
check over David.
I have a penalty advantage against 3 White for a seatbelt tackle. And then I had another high tackle from 5 White. I just want to see where does the contact take place and is there any mitigation? Thank you.
So two
Yes, please, Director, I
occasions
need
that
the last
referee Jacko
15
David
seconds, please.
wants to take a look at. 3 wide Senura Pereira for Sri Lanka with the seatbelt tackle. And then it was number 5 wide, if I'm not mistaken. That was Thilina Bandara with another high shot. Now
you can-
referred to
It's just
the
gonna take
television
time.
match
It's
official
going to take time.
will make the
Hold.
decision.
Will do. It's going to take time.
Here's what the referee will see. That's the one from Senura. Arm on top of the shoulder is going to be frowned upon. Where the first penalty advantage was present to Malaysia. And then keep an eye out on Thilina Bandara on top of on the short side of the rock, moving onto the open side.
Watching now, watching now.
On
Now, it goes down for me anyway. But
I believe it was the next ball carry. This one here. There was a collision on the head of the ball carrier from Malaysia. Referee wanting to make sure
Director, do
that
you
he
have a
gets
different
the
angle
verdict
of that
from the
contact?
television
Different angle
match
of that
official.
contact. 5 white. Okay, checking different angle of 5 white. Checking different angle. Hold.
okay, checking a different angle of 5 White.
The television match official wanting to look at a different angle of that second charge. The first one, I believe, they are satisfied. Here's another angle of that. I believe the earlier one was the more clearer one. They will look at whether the first
Yako,
impact
I
was
have a decision
directly on
for
the
you.
head
I have a
and whether
decision
there are
for you.
any mitigation factors.
Number five white has started legal and then has raised up to head neck area. Entry point yellow card, no mitigation, yellow card, 5 white.
Okay, thank you, Simon. So
Very
no
clear
mitigation,
instructions.
entry point on the chest and then moving up. So therefore entry point
A little
yellow
harsh,
card.
I would say.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So he's dipping, and that's what's saving.
Entry point, it
Okay,
was
but there
below
was
the sternum.
contact onto the neck. 5
So
white.
entry point, and then he slips
Yellow
up.
card.
Entry point, yellow card. So Tilnabandar will have to spend 10 minutes in the naughty chair. So opportunity.
So Malaysia
Okay, line
decided
in the middle.
to go for
Line
the
in the
line
middle,
out.
half
It
a
will be a
meter
line out 5 meters
Get everybody there, thank you.
away from the try line. Sri Lanka's defensive maul could be tested here. Looks like they have shortened the line out interestingly. Called for a 4-man line out. So it'll be interesting to see the tactics that Malaysia will employ from this situation. Aminul with the throw-in.
Golden opportunity for Malaysia. Opts to go with a 4-man line out. Sri Lanka managing to put pressure on that. Would I put my money on Malaysia wanting to try and set that up?
Advantage to Malaysia as well for a knock-on, I believe.
Now Malaysia looking to build faces.
It's going backwards. Just the knock on.
No advantage, so they will
Just
come
enough.
back for the
From
initial
white.
loss forward. Scrum in favor
Line
of
out.
Malaysia.
One of you guys came out and no one went back in. So have it
The line speed of the Sri Lankan defense today has been outstanding, isn't it? They haven't given the Malaysians any momentum whatsoever. They've had to constantly play on the back foot, and that has forced Mohammad Amirul to constantly kick the ball back to Sri Lanka, and they have definitely made Malaysia pay from the counter-attacks that they have launched today.
Absolutely, Abdullah. I think the defensive line speed, it's beautiful to note that from that Kazakhstan game, despite losing a lot of players, Sri Lanka have managed to continue doing that, and that's a mark of a very good side, irrespective of the change in different personnel, staying true to the patterns they like to play. Tonia breaks. Good defensive work from Sri Lanka to hold him. Now Malaysia looking to build faces. Nizar had to roll out quickly, does that very well. This time carry by Amirul. Penalized. Rolling. Yet again, quickly taken by Nigel. Now the backs into the attack.
Nice.
Danushka Ranjan shows and go. Danushka Ranjan has support. Here's Rifan. Big tackle on him by James. Sri Lanka looking to get it quick. Marasinghe with a long pass to no one. Dilshan in the corner. Dilshan still going.
Last feed.
Rifan, Nigel. Crashing through was Fernando. Dore, Madhushankar. Backwards says the referee, but Malaysia now with the chance. Akil, can he give it out? Lateral pass finds the supporter.
Off.
Get off, says the referee. Malaysia with an opportunity now. Spinning away from the tackle was Mohammad Shobri. He has been absolutely wonderful ball carrier for Malaysia. Nasruddin
Last feed.
looking to attack the fringers. Referee still playing advantage in favor of the red shirts. Amirul now. Nasruddin, long cutout pass. Space on the outside, needs the ball to go out.
Advantage is over.
Here's Itunia, and he will go in for his second. Malaysia, welcome back try for them in this second half. It's been a long time coming. First one was through the same man, and this time again in the corner. It's always going to be a difficult one for Janadu Dilshan to contain. Two men on the outside, and Antonia, when he saw the line and the space, said thank you very much.
Yes, well, for the first time, I'd say in this game, Sudarshana, Malaysia were managing to win the tackles, isn't it, and get over that gain line. And the Sri Lankan defense was under a bit of stress. They were being pushed onto the back foot. And some good execution, catch and give, pretty simple stuff by Malaysia, enabling them to get their second score.
No one goes back into the lineup.
Yes, Malaysia is finally sticking to what they are really good at, keeping it tight. You saw that once the ball was intercepted and they made that initial break, that they kept it tight. There were a few phases that they were picking and going, and then they spread it wide and caught Sri Lanka lacking numbers on the outside, and an easy score.
Akhil, despite not finding the mark with the 3 penalties this time around as well, he's absolutely on spot. Getting that, I beg your pardon, this time it's Nazreen who's been given the duties of converting.
Substitution time.
As Sri Lanka takes Pulasti Dasanaik out after a very good stint in the middle. The number 2, Nigel Ratwakta. And Zanidu Fernando as well.
Time back on.
Senura Pereira. So mass substitutions from the Sri Lankan side. Tenakoda Naikara, who's just come onto the field with the restart. Akhil collecting it. Ambitious pass, and Johnny Dilshan says thank you, and I'll score 2-2. The two wingers scoring a brace of tries. Johnny Dilshan and his interceptions. I vividly remember him doing that in while he was schooling for Royal College as well. And what a wonderful score for the winger. And Sri Lanka heading back right after.
He read that beautifully, like reading the Sunday newspaper. A great read by the winger.
Yes, Malaysians just seem to be running out of options. Just throwing the ball more in hope than in conviction, isn't it? And Janindu read that brilliantly, as you said, Tarinda. So Murshid with the opportunity to further extend this lead. Strikes it well, and it's over. So Sri Lanka well into the 50s now. And looks like there'll be a quick 1 minute water break.
It's water break now, 20 minutes.
Just considering the humidity levels currently prevailing in the island.
Well, 60 minutes have passed on our clock. 68 points have been scored in this game. It has been a high-scoring affair. Take a look at this. Didn't have a real target for that pass. And Janadu Dilshan says, I think that has my name on it. Scoring in the corner. And Dore has been wonderful from the kicking tee.
Yes, so Sri Lanka continuing to extend this lead. And during this break, Tarinda, I think something which all the Sri Lankan rugby community would like to know. How is the rehab coming with your knee, and when can we see you back on the field?
Taking it day by day. Hopefully soon. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sure it'll be sooner rather than later. I'm just about to recommence proceedings. I'm sure Sri Lanka will just not want to drop their guard, isn't it? They put on a bit of a show today. Just the final 20 minutes. Just look to try and make a statement to the other teams that they will be facing in June. Play restarts, comfortably collected by Dahan.
Big strong carry by the Sri Lankan forwards. Now the players who've come on from the bench will want to make sure that they put their hands up. But that time around, Malaysia managing to get the call in their favor. Lost in contact.
Come on. Same as the guys before you. Thank you. Gap on bind.
Vimukta Pereira, Vendrako Dagoda, a brand new front row coming in for Sri Lanka.
8, get in. Bind. Sit.
Here's Samuela running straight. Spent 10 minutes on the bench. He'll want to make things right. Inside ball, good running line, but the defense was privy to that. Now inside the 22 meters through their hooker, Malaysia opting to go for a drop kick.
22.
And that's not successful. That will be a 22-meter dropout.
Well, 54
Malaysia.
points to 14 down, Sudarshana. Going for the drop goal. Have to say Malaysians seem to have waved that white flag. Quite a bit of the game time remaining. Nanyakara kicks it deep. Comfortably collected. Again, Sri Lankan defense standing strong. Again, big tackle by Chaturanga. Malaysia just haven't been able to get on the front foot. Ball swung out wide, forcing the ball to be kicked ahead.
21, get out.
The Malaysian player was never onside. Yes, absolutely spotted by the referee.
Number 21 that time from Malaysia was the guilty party. Couldn't advance on that ball, and he was warned a couple of times by referee David.
Penalty arrow scrum there.
Yes, it was Mohammad Khairul,
Penalty.
the guilty party on that occasion.
I feel Sri Lanka shouldn't let the foot off the gas. Since the bench has almost been cleared out, they should speed the game up and keep the pace, because
Almost there.
Malaysia started to look tired and deflated.
Yeah, you can't blame them when you are 40 points behind the opposition side. It always becomes difficult. Number 21 absolutely did nothing to retrieve, and that's why
In the lineup.
they were found guilty. The line out, Sri Lanka making a mess of that, and it's always difficult when you have the new combinations coming in to try and get your timings right. So that's something Sri Lanka will want to work at. All 5 replacements for the forwards have come onto the field now.
So if you look at it, I think Sri Lanka had less numbers than Malaysia at that line out. So probably the referees just missing that.
But also we have to give credit to Malaysia. They read it well, and they've managed to put enough pressure for Sri Lanka to fumble the ball and cause an error.
Yes, Malaysia. Samoa finds space on the outside and puts space for Akil.
Great defense once again by Sri Lanka.
Malaysia looking to create phases. Here's James. Now to the open side. Needed to roll away and does that very well. The Sri Lankan tackler. Yet again, good defensive work.
Backwards.
And gentlemen, I know we are tasked with deciding the player of the match.
It's out, lads.
But I think with how this is going, if there is an opportunity for us to try and announce
Lads, here we go.
the entire defensive effort as
Number Sri Lanka.
the winner of the player of the match for Sri Lanka. I think we will be doing justice, but however, our very good friend behind us says, no way, you need to pick one.
Okay, good. Let's
What
play,
we'll do is we'll try and hold on to deciding on who the player of the match is going to be for a couple of more minutes. As Sri Lanka earns a penalty off that line out. Malaysians guilty of joining the mall illegally.
He has the mark, white.
Another veteran in national colours. ThePapare has come onto the field. He wouldn't be too happy with that result as the fullback Lukman Hakim charges through for Malaysia.
That's it.
Again, big tackle.
No arms in the tackle. No arms in the tackle.
No arms in the tackle is the adjudication
No
by
arms
the
in the
referee.
tackle.
But that was
Simon, can
a
you check if that's more serious than a penalty?
Bone
only,
crunching
please?
tackle, I would say.
referee wanting the television match official to take a look at that tackle and see whether there is
penalty only.
anything more.
Time is off.
The television match official satisfied that it's a penalty only.
Who's captain? Where's Nigel? Off. Who's captain? We cannot have that. Let's attempt to wrap, okay? We can't drop shoulders.
Danushka Ranjan stepping in
No, in attack.
to the leading role. The arms really didn't come
Side.
around both the legs, yes, but he did have his arms. But the impact was too greater as Akil puts ball to boot, brings play into 22 meters. This is very good for Malaysia.
Great kick by Malaysia, putting them in a really good position to
Here's the
attack.
So it'll be interesting to see how they form for this line out. It could say a lot on how they plan to attack. So Itonia and Samuela
Get inside the 15,
both
please.
hanging amongst the threes.
Yeah, Itonia now making his way to play as the scrum half, with scrum half joining the line out. James Etonia goes through the middle. Etonia, and he will go for the break. His hat trick. 3 tries for this big number 8. All 3 scored for Malaysia through this big man. He was in the backs like Abdullah mentioned, but slowly made his way to the line out, replaced the scrum half, and off that they've practiced it time and time again in the training pitch and executing it brilliantly. Take a look at that massive gap in the middle, and he says thank you very much Rifan and Dinal, but no match to that big burly number 8 from Malaysia. Etonia scoring a hat-trick and equaling Dinal Ekanayaka on the sheet.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Sir Mohammad Nazreen with the conversion attempt. Strikes it well, but just misses the right upright. So score will remain 54 points to 19 as we get close to the final 10 minutes of this game. Interesting to see Sri Lanka just need to keep the intensity up, isn't it, in the slight fall off after those couple of tries earlier on in the second half. As Nana Kara restarts proceedings.
Stop 12. Thank you.
Comfortably collected and cleared into touch.
Once again, I feel Sri Lanka has not kept up to the pace that they had in the first half and the early parts of the second. They really need to keep it up. if they want to make a bigger impact in this game. Like coming down to the last 10 minutes,
Get out, get out.
line out won by Sri Lanka.
Yeah, got it. Advantage, penalty advantage.
Penalty advantage in favor of
Penalty advantage, offside.
the Tuskers. Change of direction. Tilna Bandara's pass finds Ekanaika. Cut him back inside. But referee will stop play because it was dangerously getting too close to
23 red
the man
offside.
who was on the ground.
Back line at line out, offside. Wait, time is up. Out, mate! 21 and 23 red offside. Line out not over when you're advancing. Time is off.
Small hold up because one of the
Captain,
Malaysian players
Captain, cramp. 8
on the
minutes, push
field.
through. Yeah.
The skipper Sarif Noor Hidayat. Opportunity for Sri Lanka to really put pressure on Malaysia now with the touch coming into the 22 meters. Now this one is going to be a very interesting line out for the Lankan lads. Yes, they have a very good lead, but with the bench players coming in, they will want to look at how this line out functions.
No.
This time Tilna Bandara, no problem. Beautifully set by Sri Lanka, marching forward. Ball available at the back. Kodagoda with the carry. Side entry from Malaysia.
Off,
Rifan
off.
digging for it. Opts to go out. Hiranta still going. Tenuka, beg your pardon. Bandara now to Dilshan, who's also looking for his third. Here's Rifan with a couple of steps. Taridu Chaturanga, little over eager, but referee will come back to the penalty. My co-commentator,
If you want a high tackle, yeah.
very eager here,
Whoa, listen,
tells
listen.
them, take it quickly.
Penalty there, high tackle, or penalty there, offside.
But referee, Teved says you got to take it from the correct mark. There are two options for penalties. This time again, the Ray will opt to go for touch.
Line is middle, half a meter step, yes.
And Sri Lanka with a line out on the 5 meter mark. Last time that they had a line out, it was
Yeah, White just step
a
off.
very good drive from them. This time going to number 2. Bandara and the forwards getting on it, and that's going to be another try. Sri Lankan forwards getting reward for all the good work they've done from the beginning of the game. The flashy tries might have been scored by the backs, but it was built with that solid base. These forwards have grinded out and they get reward finally.
Yes, brilliantly executed. You can see a very tired, despondent Malaysian defense. No chance against the fresh legs, Tarinda, that has come onto the field, making an impact there. You could see very clearly.
Yes, it was a long time coming, and finally the Sri Lankan bench get the opportunity to make their impact known and felt, and just led in a beautiful try. However, I still feel Sri Lanka should keep up the pressure, not slow the game down, and take advantage of the tired legs of the Malaysians.
It's a conversion, not making the mark, so score will remain 59 points to 19. You'd just like to see Sri Lanka finishing strong, as we can see once again. Good clean line out by Bandara. And the Malaysians just not committing quick enough to try and stop that driving maul. You could just see those newcomers who have just come onto the ground, making that impact. As we see Nazreen restarting proceedings, collected by Tarindu. Nice short pass to his mate, Nirosh.
Sideways, sideways. Leave it 6.
Nice
6.
hands.
6, get up, get up, get up.
Hiranta Pereira. Nice ward off. Rifan to Bandara once again. Goes into contact. Recycled ball once again. Nane Akara gets the ball out to Zubair. They have players out wide. This is much better by Sri Lanka. They need to spread it back inwards. Jayavira. Koda Goda. Rifan once again switching sides. Nane Akara deciding to take the ball himself into contact. Just don't think that was the correct option. Position has been turned over. An opportunity for Malaysia to launch another attack.
Very good straightening run that time by the red shirts. But the defensive work from Sri Lanka has been impressive. Here's Tilna Bandar, quickly taken by him. Nisar running straight, straightening it up, good running angle there.
Almost, leave it.
Rifan digging for the ball.
There is space at the back if Sri Lanka can spot it.
Koda Goda. Ekanayaka. Now Subair puts in a little dink, but into the hands of the danger man. A hat-trick scorer. Malaysia now with an opportunity with broken play. That's a penalty again. Now quickly taken by Sri Lanka. Offload. Lost that one forward. So some helter-skelter play in these closing exchanges of the game. 59 points to 19. It's fair to say that we can decide on the player of the match, since a couple of names from Sri Lanka. Obviously, I think from Malaysia, it's their big number 8, Etonia Waka, who has been absolutely impressive, scoring 3 tries. But from Sri Lanka, there have been performances across the pitch. Their forwards have been brilliant. Their third rows, namely Tarindu Chaturanga and also Nisran Nizar, who's playing his debut game, has been impressive. But
we're just waiting for him to get up. Wait.
The centre pairing of Akash Madhushanka and Danushka Ranjan was absolutely brilliant. But you can't look away from the two wingers. Janidu Dilshan scoring 2 and Dinale Kanayaka, a hat-trick man. I leave it up to you two gentlemen to decide on who is going to be the player of the match.
Yes, it's a tough call, isn't it, Sudarshana? Really close call. But I probably have to say some individual brilliance, isn't it, by Dinale Kanayaka. He has been able to create things for his team when nothing just seemed on. And his kick and chase from Heshan Jansen's base kick has also played a big part in how Sri Lanka has managed to get some good forward ball. So I think overall, I would go with Dinale Kanayaka as our man of the match for today.
Well, our co-commentator Tarindra Rattat very, very diplomatically saying, I leave it up to you to decide, because he needs to get back in the squad with these lads and continue playing the overshare ball game. And Tari, we do excuse you for that, and I think it's anonymous here. Dinale Kanayaka, you really can't
You sorted it out? Oh, you 4. You sorted it out?
look over him, because he's been absolutely wonderful, and what a winger he has turned out to be for Sri Lanka.
Absolutely. Like you said, thank you for leaving me out of it. But I mean, if it was up to me, I would definitely award the men of the match, the entire starting lineup, the guys off the bench. What an impact they've had. You know, again, the defensive effort put in by the Sri Lanka side has gone unnoticed most of the time. So I really need to, give the boys a huge, round of applause and what an effort they have put in. You know, really, really taking it to the opposition, not letting Malaysia
out this side, yes, please.
breathe even for a second. Then of course you have the Malaysian number 8,
Delroy.
Etonia, who has
Sorry,
obviously
is there another
world class.
substitute?
He's
Sorry.
been able to
there
beat
no substitute?
the Sri Lankan defense, but I would again say, if you all think Dinal deserves it, then he deserves it. But for me, the whole team is has just played out of their minds today.
Well, see, Tari, that is the disadvantage of doing our job here. We need to have to decide on one person. There are plenty of times the entire team or the entire defensive outfit, or if sometimes it's the forwards, all 8 of them who rally around to make the difference, but we need to single out one person. And today, I think Dinal takes the cake, especially with his 3 scores and that game-breaking ability that he has showcased in the game.
You also have to give credit to the veteran leadership, I say, with Darushka Ranjan and Nigel Ratwata. They have definitely led this side really well, kept the boys composed, even though there were mistakes early on. A lot of composure, a lot of leadership shown, and that is definitely credit to Nigel and Danushka Ranjan, Tharindu Chaturanga, and all the senior players going out. I think they all deserve the same credit.
Absolutely, especially given the fact that Sri Lanka were dealt with a couple of some serious injury blows. Our co-commentator, we're lucky to have him here because of that injury, but rest of the Sri Lankans would have really preferred him in the middle of the pitch as Malaysia look to try and create something in these dying embers of the game. Akil putting ball to boot. There is a good chase. They managed to overshoot that. Janadu Dilshan still with plenty of juice in his tank. Rifan puts ball to boot. Plenty pace at the back. Rifan with another little dink. Didn't find the mark. Didn't find that touch that he looked for.
Yes, a good vision by Rifan, isn't it? Realized that the entire Malaysian defense was up. Unfortunately, the bounce of the ball not working in his favor on that occasion, enabling the Malaysians to clear their lines. Nonetheless, another good attacking opportunity for Sri Lanka. They've gone for a 4-man line out.
Stay out of it.
Bandara, good clean take. Nanayakara getting the ball out to Tharinda. Hiranta. Tap back. Looks like no one wants it, but Malaysia have managed to clear the ball.
No, get out.
Clean the ball up, and they've taken it in, formed a ruck. That will look to try and
Taken back.
run it from here, but as once again the Sri Lankan defensive line
Off.
up extremely quickly.
They can't kick it out on the full because
Numbers
it was
on the
taken back.
left. Numbers on the left for Malaysia, if they see it.
James, Etonia one-on-one with Dilshan, does very well to bring him down. Running on to that crash ball was
No.
were the forwards. Hands off, says the referee. Now James attacking the short side. Malaysia have been guilty of not building faces and being patient, trying to do a little too much, too early. Etonia now with the carry. As we close in on the 80th minute mark on our clock, not rolling away. Sri Lanka penalised.
Sri Lanka need to be a little bit more disciplined, even though it's the dying stages of the game, and this game is sealed. But they really need to finish on a high and not, give away silly penalties. They've been very, very disciplined the whole game, and they need to keep it up.
Say that again.
Yes, well, if at all, that's just one takeaway from this game, isn't it, Tarinder? Just to try and keep the momentum going.
Last play. Let's go.
It's another injury break.
Final play.
Just,
well, it's going to be the final play of the game, and for all of you Tuskers fan around the world, this is going to be absolute brilliant news. Sri Lanka, with this win, is going to book their spot in Asia Rugby Emirates Men's Championship, the top 4. They return to the top after a long hiatus in front of home crowd. This is absolutely terrific performance by the Sri Lankan outfit. Kudos to the entire setup, who did not have a lot of lead time to prepare, but they've done some great preparation and getting a defensive line organized as well as they executed here is no easy task. So kudos to the management and the coaching staff. Commiserations to Malaysia. They've taken on the challenge and they never gave up until that last move. It's difficult conditions that they've played at, but they will go out with their heads high.
Yes, and Sri Lanka on their part have definitely made a statement to the rest of the Asian rugby fraternity, making their way to the top tier once again. And no doubt that with the possibility of hosting 2 games against Korea as well as UAE here in Sri Lanka, they'd definitely look to try and further go up the ranks in Asian rugby, and who knows, maybe even make it to that repechage qualification game for the World Cup. But that's very much in the future. For now, Sri Lanka can celebrate on what has been an absolutely brilliant performance, and no doubt they will party late into the night today, Sudarshan.
Well, before I think there is a little difference today, Abdullah. Before we get a little ahead of ourselves, I think Tarinder Ratwate is always here to put the brakes on it and say, oh, whoa, gentlemen, we have 2 games against the New Zealand under-85 coming up. Let's focus on that first. But yes, I am 100% with you. This is the closest Sri Lanka has ever come to gaining qualification to a World Cup. It's just 3 games away. Or if Sri Lanka can win 3 games from here on out in the Asian circuit, we will be able to try and go the distance. What we'll do now is we'll cross over and we'll listen to a man who must be absolutely delighted. Captaining Sri Lanka for the first time, national skipper of the Tuskers side, Nigel Ratwate.
What does that win mean to you and your team?
Of course, first of all, I would like to thank Malaysia for coming over and playing with us. We were expecting a hard-fought battle, and then our team, my God, we came together for a week and got together, and this performance by the boys, very proud of them, each one.
Well done. So you had a very good start, then Malaysia sort of dominated a bit. What was the message from you to the team?
We wanted to play fast-moving rugby. That's what we did in the first 30 minutes, and we got the early scores that kept us going well. So yeah, thanks to the boys. Good effort, each and every one. Thank you very much.
Well done. And tell me about the crowd. How much of a factor the crowd was for this big win?
You know, Sri Lanka always surprises with the crowd. Thank you very much. It turned out in many numbers, supporting us. It means a lot to us. Keep supporting Sri Lanka rugby. Thank you for coming and supporting us once again.
Well done. So that's a big win for you. Well done. But that means you're promoted now to the Asia Rugby Emirates Men's Championship. Officially, you've started your journey to Australia 2027. So how will the preparation look like for you now?
So we'll get into camp probably next week. So we got 2 more games coming up within the next 3 weeks. Prepare week by week and match by match.
Good luck. 3 very good games coming up for you, and see you again hopefully in Colombo in June and July.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Back to the commentators now.
Well, a delighted national skipper Tarinder Ratwata captaining the side for the very first time, and he did a fabulous job in making sure that he imparts his knowledge and his experience to some of these young debutants. Some terrific work by the Sri Lankan outfit, but kudos to Malaysia as well, who were absolutely wonderful. They never gave up until the final whistle. Antonia, who has been their standout player, scoring a hat-trick for them, but not to be outdone. Dinaleka Naika of Sri Lanka, the player of the match in this encounter. Great turnout by the Sri Lankan rugby fans who absolutely love the game. Nice to see them enjoying Test rugby here in their home soil. Abdullah, we missed that for a long time. And to everyone who joined us from around the world, it would have been an interesting game, a high-scoring affair here in Sri Lanka. But it has been a wonderful evening of rugby.
Absolutely, Sudarshana, and the crowd that thronged the racecourse have been treated to some vintage rugby, especially by the Sri Lankan backs. As this is how proceedings started in that second half. Danushka Ranjan with the initial break. Murshid Zubair handing it over to Dinaleka Naika, our man of the match for today, who got his third try. Zubair successful with the conversion. Then the Sri Lankan three quarters once again in full flight. Ranjan getting all the ball out to Ekanayaka, and with that kind of space and with the pace that he possesses, the Malaysian defense was no match for the dynamic Sri Lankan left side wing three quarter.
Kicking from the spot would have been an initial concern for Sri Lanka without Tarinder Ratwata, but Zubair did not make that absence felt as Itonia scored Malaysia's second in the far corner, in the corner channel. This was read like an open book by Janadu Dilshan, who says thank you very much. Clicked on to that. The ball has had his name written all over. Here's Itonia scoring his third and the hat-trick of tries. But the final try for Sri Lanka coming through the wonderful forwards who were on the grind from the start of the game. As we look at the Colombo skyline, here are the key stats of Asia Rugby Emirates Men's Championship Playoff 2025. Sri Lanka 59 points to 19, scoring 9 tries and 7 conversions. They notched up that humongous scoreline against Malaysia's 19 points. 3 tries scored by their wonderful number 8 Titonia, and 2 being converted by the Malaysian team. Our player of the match of the game was Dinaleka Naika, scoring a hat-trick and was absolutely wonderful with his footwork and also plenty of pace to burn. Here's the player of the match, Dinaleka Naika, receiving his accolade from President of Asia Rugby, Mr. Kais Abdullah. A very momentous occasion for the young lad who has plenty of years to rep the national jersey, and the Sri Lankans will be delighted that they are now in the top division in the Emirates Men's Championship against the top 3 teams in Asia. Lovely to see all the crowds gathering up. Absolutely brilliant stuff. This is what you want to see. The crowds seeing and supporting their heroes. And test match rugby here in our own course. Congratulations to Sri Lanka yet again. And what a day it has been. Well, with those celebrations, they need to remember there is a long road ahead. UAE will play Hong Kong, China on 13 June. Sri Lanka will take on South Korea on the 14th. That's going to be a very, very interesting match for Sri Lanka, which hopefully will be home according to this fixture. Hong Kong, China will host Sri Lanka on the 21st of June. So some traveling to be done for the Lankan lads. South Korea will take on UAE. That's in Korea, and Sri Lanka yet again will host UAE back here on 4th of July. And with South Korea taking on Hong Kong, China on 5th of July. That is in Korea. Some very, very interesting Asia Rugby Emirates Men's Championship fixtures coming up, and this is going to be the road ahead to decide who will be securing that second spot to represent Asia in the 2027 Rugby World Cup. We already have one team, the Japanese side, who have earned their merit to represent Asia through their past performance in the World Cup. But we possibly can have two sides from Asia, two more sides from Asia, and it's going to be an interesting one, Abdullah.
Absolutely brilliant. And isn't it great to have an international fixture list for the Tuskers as well, Sudarshana? It's been some time since we've seen this kind of continuous rugby at international level. Not forgetting that we have the New Zealand under 85 kg team that will be in Sri Lanka to play a couple of matches as well, and I'm sure those hit-outs will be absolutely important in terms of preparing for this Asian Tier 1 tournament. So a lot to look forward to for the Sri Lankan fans. The Tuskers will be in action, so keep your heads around, and we will be bringing all those action through the Papare as we go along.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure bringing you the action of Asia Rugby Emirates Men's Championship playoff game from here at the Racecourse. It was a wonderful affair, and it has been a wonderful game of rugby. We really do hope that all of you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing the action to you. It's a wrap from us here at Racecourse on behalf of the Asia Rugby media team and also Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare. It's over and out from me, Sudarshan Pedis, and Abdullah Yusuf in the com box.
cricket, horse racing, football and more. STBet.com, Sri Lanka's #1 betting site. Play big, win big.
ලස්සන ෆන් ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සැර විහිදේ කීක්කික සිත බ්‍රන්දවා කෙරේ ෆයිවන ෆැෂන් අපේ හීට් එක වැදේ වටේ hot and spicy guess මත්තේ මේසේ dance එක hit වෙන්නේ move එක set වෙන්නේ දිව ගැසෙවි දන්නේ රසේ කොත්තුමි happening මේ රස්තට උඩ යන්නේ hot and spicy මිසේ වගේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆන් තමයි
Cricket, horse racing, football and more. STBet.com, Sri Lanka's #1 betting site. Play big, win big. Just a little bit of
The ball really well here watching in Sri Lanka on ThePapare or Dialog TV.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
ලස්සන ෆන් ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සැර විහිදේ කීක්කික සිත බ්‍රන්දවා කෙරේ ෆයිවන ෆැෂන් අපේ හීට් එක වැදේ වටේ hot and spicy guess මත්තේ මේසේ
dance එක hit වෙන්නේ move එක set වෙන්නේ
දිව ගැසෙවි දන්නේ රසේ කොත්තුමි happening මේ රස්තට උඩ යන්නේ hot and spicy මිසේ වගේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆන් තමයි
cricket, horse racing, football ඇතුළු තවත් ක්‍රීඩා රැසක්. STBet.com, ලංකාවේ අංක 1 betting site එක. වැඩියෙන් play කරන්න, වැඩියෙන් win කරන්න.
ලස්සන ෆන් ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සැර විහිදේ කීක්කික සිත බ්‍රන්දවා කෙරේ ෆයිවන ෆැෂන් අපේ හීට් එක වැදේ වටේ hot and spicy guess මත්තේ මේසේ
dance එක hit වෙන්නේ move එක set වෙන්නේ
දිව ගැසෙවි දන්නේ රසේ කොත්තුමි happening මේ රස්තට උඩ යන්නේ hot and spicy මිසේ වගේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆන් තමයි
Watch the stars of Sri Lanka at the biggest franchise T20 league in the world on www.thepapare.com for just 249 rupees. Watch the stars of Sri Lanka at the biggest franchise T20 league in the world on www.thepapare.com for just 249 rupees.
Cricket, horse racing, football and more. SDBet.com, Sri Lanka's #1 betting site. Play big, win big.
Stand by for opener.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, The Papare.
3, 2, 1, roll off.
ඉතින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අංකික ක්‍රීඩා නාලිකාව ThePapare සමග.
Welcome back to ThePapare.
Welcome to the live broadcast on The Papare.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, everyone.
ThePapare, Sri Lanka's #1 television sports channel.